Hi pals, it's me, RT, they and pronouns only, and my video this week, hopefully you can't hear those horrific seagulls. My video this week is basically like trans people are having a time right now, okay? We are having a time, not a good one, not a good time. In England, you know, across the UK and America, we're all kind of like a little bit fucked. We're just not having a good time. So I basically just decided I would make this video where I remind you that there are plenty of people who support trans people, support trans rights. So I wanted to give you a non-exhaustive list of some celebrities who you may or may not recognize, because some of these celebrities I did not recognize. But I wanted to give you a mixture of people that like have been overt in their support of trans rights. They have made it known, ideally on multiple occasions, but not always, in memorable, hopefully, ways. But also, yeah, like I said, a few we may not be aware of, a few that may have been said many years ago when it was more like popular, or maybe even when it was like before it was popular. People like just being like, yeah, trans people are like fine. Sorry, for some reason my microphone is now picking up my fan, and also I'm getting the evening light changes, so and also in general, as a side note, I have to mention that many of these people probably have dodgy politics elsewhere. Also, or like their own dodgy behaviors. Like some of these people may not be the greatest people in other ways, and like I do not endorse any of their shitty opinions or any of their shitty behaviors here at all. I just wanted to put together a list with some examples of big names who are using their platforms or using their money to actually support trans people and trans rights in mostly the UK and America. Some of these as well are more recent due to the recent bullshit of UK politics and American politics. I hate it here. I hate this so much. Some of them, like I said, are much older statements. I think we just need a little bit of a reminder that people who hate us are like actually a minority. I said this in like a photo shoot that I did recently, or like for a photo shoot I did recently, where it's like, you know, if you think about who actually shows up to protest for trans related causes, the people who are pro-trans are usually very large groups of people, and the anti-trans, TERFs, gender criticals, whatever fandangery you want to call yourselves, are usually like a really embarrassingly small group of people. And it's just like, wow, grow up. You know, so a lot of people do support trans people. But also, if you want to support a trans right now for free, if you don't have any money, watch my videos. Play my videos. Play trans people's videos, please. We are poor. So, if you want to support trans people, there's so many ways that are both free and not free. So if you're here, support me by watching my other videos. These are things you can do for free that take you like seconds, that can genuinely mean the difference between affording bills, being able to do something for a job, and not. So the first few are gonna be kind of like obvious ones we've heard over and over again. So my first one is Daniel Radcliffe. You know, in June of 2020, Daniel Radcliffe showed his support for the transgender community following a series of controversial comments shared by the author J.K. Rowling. In response to an article discussing people who menstruate, Rowling tweeted, "I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. Wumben, wimpund, woomud." And for some reason, she responded to people calling her transphobic with, "I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans," but then proceeded to use her money that she makes from Harry Potter to lobby politicians and judges and help pay transphobes legal fees so that people can discriminate and oppress trans people. Sharing a statement through the LGBTQ plus suicide prevention charity, the Trevor Project, Daniel Radcliffe said that while Rowling is unquestionably responsible for the course of my life has taken, as a human being, I feel compelled to say something at this moment. Transgender women are women, and any statement to the contrary erases the identity and dignity of transgender people and goes against all advice given by professional healthcare associations who have far more expertise on the subject matter than either Joe or I. Yeah, because even the British Medical Association said this year that the idea of sex being strictly binary, scientifically illiterate. I mean, he said that in 2020. He concluded by adding, "To all the people who now feel their experience of the books has been tarnished or diminished, I am deeply sorry for the pain these comments have caused you." The next person on the list is also another previous Harry Potter star, Emma Watson. Emma Watson has joined the call of fellow former Harry Potter stars for trans inclusion, stating that trans people deserve to live their lives without being constantly questioned. Emma is also a regular donor to trans youth charity Mermaids and the feminist fund Mama Cash, and speaks out about the importance of intersectionality when discussing LGBTQ plus issues, calling for recognition of Sylvia Rivera, Audre Lorde, and Marsha P. Johnson in 2018 for LGBTQ plus History Month in America. In 2020, she also tweeted, "Trans people are who they say they are, and they deserve to live their lives without being constantly questioned." And number 3 is Rupert Grint. Surprise, surprise. The actor who played Ron also said stuff at the time in 2020. Okay, "I firmly stand with the trans community. Trans women are women, trans men are men. We should all be entitled to live with love and without judgment." Number 4, Zendaya. She told Vogue that feminism should be inclusive of all women, including trans women. She spoke to the magazine in 2021. She said that the true feminism must encompass women that look like you, women who don't look like you, women whose experiences are different than you. She continued, "That means black women, that means trans women, that means all women." Number 5 is Jedward. This is such a random, also technically it's 2 people as well, but like this is a very random one. But I remember seeing them on Twitter a lot, like through lockdowns and stuff, and they are very like progressive. It's very funny that a lot of Irish celebrities are a lot more outspoken about their progressive values, where I feel like a lot of other countries' actors less so. John and Edward Grimes, the X Factor stars, also waded in on the whole thing in 2020 as well with J.K. Rowling, following the publication of her book Troubled Blood, which I think the context of that was that she was writing under a pseudonym, and the pseudonym was the name of the man who literally invented conversion therapy. Normal. Tweeting from their official account, the brothers wrote, "Does anyone need firewood this winter? JK's new book is perfect to burn next to a romantic fire. Get all cozy and comfy, can't wait." They've also said, like I said initially, they've also said a lot of things online on Twitter before or like a bit after this. They were just saying a lot of things. They were just unbothered babes, honestly, at this point in time. Number 6 is Lily Allen. She has posted a meme in 2015 which pointed to a brain stating that gender is up here, and then to a pair of underpants that said not down there. She may have said other things since this video will have like a lot of things chopped in, edited in, but I just wanted to make the initial list and then just kind of work on it in post, basically. Number 7 is Kylie Minogue, of course, our gay icon. The pop star briefly addressed a question on single-sex spaces when interviewed by The Guardian in 2020. Some of these examples are really small things, like the Lily Allen one and like this, but like I think they're important to include because sometimes it's like I feel like this is the norm. Like it should be more normal for people to just like make offhand comments that support marginalized groups of people. So here she says, if you're a transgender woman, you should use the women's facilities, surely, before redirecting the conversation. Because as well, a lot of these people are not qualified to be talking about trans-related issues, political issues. So making your stance known without then managing to dig your own hole because you're speaking on behalf of a group of people that you are not a part of, or speaking about things that you don't actually understand, even from an outsider perspective, and understand the legalities and the science behind it. I think moments like these are also great. Number 8 is Drew Afualo. Drew gained fame on TikTok and wrote a book in recent years. However, whilst I may not be able to point to any one particular instance of her supporting trans people, she has often and regularly made pro-trans statements across different platforms and very anti-JKR statements when the toad kicks off again. She criticizes the anti-trans laws in America and has discussed gender diversity within her family's ethnic and cultural background. Her familial heritage is Samoan, and she grew up surrounded by a big Samoan family with a lot of emphasis on celebrating their culture. Samoan culture has numerous terms for trans people, which, you know, you're better off learning more specifics about this from somebody else, as I am. I'm a white English tran. So I'll give like a brief summary, but yeah, if you want to learn more about Samoan culture in general and specifically trans people in Samoan culture, you should definitely be looking elsewhere. But yeah, there are a few different terms that they use for trans people in Samoan culture, but the two terms that I came across, which again, I'm also probably not going to be pronouncing these correctly, even though I have tried to listen to them, are fa'afafine and fa'afatama.
Fa'afafine. Fa'afafine. Fa'afafine.
Fa'afafine. Okay, fa'afafine. Fa'afafine. Oh, I think I might have just stumbled upon a video by some Samoan people, so I'll try to remember to link that in the description as well. It looks like a longer video, so might actually discuss fa'afine and fa'atama. Fa'atama. Okay, I'm going to forget those in 0.2 seconds, but slay. Fa'afine and fa'atama. I think I've misspelled this when I've written it in my script as well, so that's helpful. Thanks. But these are fluid gender roles that move across male and female worlds. So I will also go and watch that video I've just found after this video I filmed.
For so many cultures that did not adhere to a gender binary prior to being colonized. My own is one of them. We did not have a gender binary prior to being colonized, and before Christianity and Mormonism and Catholicism were brought to my people. So before that, prior to that, we didn't adhere to anything like that.
And gender is a racial construct.
Period.
So what it means to be an Indian woman, a Samoan woman, a white woman is different and culturally contingent.
Absolutely.
I grew up with strong, badass, hairy brown women. And that wasn't a violation of their femininity.
Absolutely.
But oftentimes I think when we're saying look like a woman or act like a woman, what we're saying is look or act like a white woman.
Period.
And we're policing women of color into that.
Absolutely.
And that's why for me, like this idea of transness, we're building off of this legacy of actually saying there is no one way to be a woman.
Absolutely.
Actually, there's your way to be a woman. And I think people read that as erasure, but actually that's about entitlement. If you feel like you can universalize your particular point of view, that's a problem.
Yeah.
When I'm saying that I want a world beyond the gender binary, I'm not saying you don't get to be you.
Yeah.
Actually, you being you is totally fine. There's nothing
and
to
it
do
has
with me.
been for thousands of years.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get to be me.
Yeah.
And in fact, the more you are, the more I can be.
Yeah.
This zero-sum competitive mentality, we don't need that, babe.
Number 9 is Jamila Jamil. Whilst a few of Jamila's comments over the years have been read as turfy, I mostly read them as just like a little bit weirdly worded. She has made some statements that point out the ridiculousness of focus on trans people in the media when numerous other rights at the time were sort of the target, particularly abortion rights at the time, I think. As part of a tweet in 2022, she wrote, "Our uteruses are being controlled by the government, but no, let's keep distracting ourselves with the vast minority that is trans women in sports." And like, I think again, like that's a good thing for somebody to mention, is the fact that, you know, there are real issues and threats happening. It's not trans people, my love. It's not trans people, my love. So like, whilst I understand some people's impulse reaction to some of the other statements she's made, I don't necessarily think she's transphobic. I just think she does suffer from opening her mouth before thinking it through syndrome. Says a lot of things in ways that aren't the best. Number 10, of course, our king, Pedro Pascal. Right, there's like, he's done a lot more than most of the people on this list as well. Obviously, the main thing is his sister is trans. He's always very supportive of his sister. He's always saying something positive about trans people, in defense of trans people, wearing the Save the Dolls t-shirt, and also just being incredibly hot. A very attractive man. Thank you for your service. I will input some of those things here because there's just like a lot. There's a lot of them, you know. Number 11 is going to be a bit of a wild one as well. Jojo Siwa. So whilst I personally find that her politics are all over the fucking place. Also, if there's any fucking biphobes in my comments, there are many legitimate reasons to not like or not vibe with Jojo Siwa. Her changing or fluid sexuality is literally not one of them. Grow up. So yeah, like she has done lots of terrible things. If you really want to go look, like genuinely, you can go find them. I've looked into it. I learn more things regularly that are against my will because I don't follow Jojo Siwa's anything. However, you know, she did wear a Protect Trans People outfit on a red carpet press event thing. That's one thing that I can remember off the top of my head. And again, it's a good place to get that stance out there because it's a huge photo opportunity. So I respect the move. Number 12 is Ariana Grande. I did not, oh my god, that light just hit my eyeball in a way that's just like, haha, have you considered migraines? I did not know any of this about Ariana Grande before doing my little research for this video. Around when legislation started targeting trans youth in particular in America began sort of increasing in 2022, Ariana Grande made sure to put her money where her mouth was, launching a fundraising campaign with pledge called the Protect and Defend Trans Youth Fund. Ariana Grande spoke specifically about the harm caused by legislation aimed largely at banning gender-affirming care for trans kids. She said, "Right now there are hundreds of bills pending in state legislatures." Oh my god. Americans, why? Across the United States that target trans youth and aim to curb their rights. The impact of fighting these anti-trans bills and policies is felt all year by trans people, their families, and loved ones. Please join me in donating to this fundraiser, which will provide critical funds to organizations providing direct services to trans youth and advocating for the rights of trans youth in states currently targeted by anti-trans policies. That was such a mouthful. Hopefully, I said it in a way that made sense. To date, the campaign has raised more than $3 million, and Ariana Grande herself specifically pledged to match funds raised up to 1.5 million, which is, again, where I can put a bit more respect on her name. As somebody who I do not particularly care about or follow as a celebrity, I love when people with money put their money where their mouth is. Because I saw a really great tweet about this, or tweet meme, I don't know, something like that recently about it, and I was like, yeah, that's literally why I hate when celebrities do this other thing where they're like just going, hello poor people, think about these other poorer people and give them your money and make me look good whilst I continue to hold on to all of my money, but I'm going to tell you and guilt you into donating to these other causes. I think if you're going to do that, you need to fucking pay up too, bitch. You need to pay up big, bitch. Most of them don't, though. Number 13, another random one. Cassidy Pope, who was the band called Hey Monday? I think it was. They were kind of like a Paramore spin-off. Like I whether they were aiming to be that or not is beside the point. They were definitely marketed that way because it was the era of the early 2000s, and only one leading girlie is allowed to reign, but also she was the blueprint. So either way, getting to the point, Cassidy Pope spoke up when she saw what Brittany Aldean had to say about gender affirming care. I don't know who that is or what the context was, but Cassidy Pope was one of the first artists to challenge her point of view. In a subtweet about Aldean's comments, Pope slammed the influencer for making transphobic comments. She said, you'd think celebs with beauty brands would see the positives in including LGBTQ plus people in their messaging. But instead, here we are hearing someone compare their tomboy phase to someone wanting to transition. Real nice. In a later interview on the podcast Hold My Hair, Pope elaborated on why she clapped back at Aldean. If I see something that is being said that I feel is harmful to a community that I care about, I'll say something, she said. Sometimes it's better to just amplify the voices of that community because they know what they're talking about way more than I do. Sometimes I can't help it. I also appreciate the fact that she could acknowledge and say that. And also, like, I think it's something that is talked about a lot by trans people, where it's like, we wish non-trans people would just fucking speak up more, because we get it in the neck every day, either directly or indirectly. Cis people do not get transphobia in the neck unless they aren't fitting gender stereotypes. That is still transphobia. But there's a lot of cis people who fit plenty of gender stereotypes, who support trans people but would never challenge somebody about their transphobic views, whether it's online or in person. And they just need to. They need to more. They need to more. We all need to be speaking up more against oppression, specifically, that doesn't impact us directly. Like, we just do. It's about being a good person. And also that poem that people don't shut the fuck up about, even though you shouldn't be thinking, oh, if there's nobody here to defend me because I didn't stand up for them. That's a very selfish way of looking at it, and you kind of suck for that. Number 14 is Hayley Williams. Hell yeah. When the state of Tennessee passed legislation, again, in March of 2023 that banned gender affirming care for minors and banned drag performances, just in general, in public spaces, Hayley Williams decided to call out her home state. Once again, our state has passed two regressive and unfathomably harmful bills. We stand in solidarity with our LGBTQIA plus family and local LGBTQIA plus orgs in this fight, not only for inclusion, for our friends and family in the queer community, but for radical acceptance and empowerment for each of them. Gender affirming healthcare for all, including our youth, is a necessity. Slay. The next one is one that has been getting a lot more hype recently, and I'm like low-key standing her a lot more. Kelly Clarkson. She is an incredible singer, but Kelly Clarkson recently said on her own talk show for Trans Day of Visibility, which is end of March. My notes make no sense. And then somebody underneath commented she did this on a daytime TV show broadcast, which is the most conservative block of scheduling, and with her whole chest on NBC's dime. I cannot express to you how much you should vibe with Kelly Clarkson. Number 16 is our one of our fave Irish girlies, Nicola, whose name I can't. Coughlin. Nicola Coughlin. Cry. Nicola Coughlin. Nicola has been a very vocal support for queer and trans people, queer and trans communities. Basically since she had her like big break in her role in Dairy Girls, where she was playing a lesbian. Dairy Girls. Sorry, like Dairy Girls. Nicola Coughlin. Coughlin. I don't know how to pronounce any. I wish I was Irish. You guys sound so sexy. Dairy Girls. Even Dairy Girls. I fucking love you guys. Wish I was Irish. She put a lot of work into preparing for her role as a lesbian, and basically since then has made many pro-trans statements and also helped raise £70,000 for trans rights following our recent UK court ruling, and she also matched many donations. So again, yes bitch, using your own money. Thank you. Yeah, I just love her. Anyway, also another full name I cannot pronounce. Adjoa. So this was a random one, but I saw Adjoa Ando share a photo. She took a selfie at a trans rights rally, and honestly, nice one. I think again that's another thing that I think is important to see more celebrities doing, is seeing them at protests and marches more often. I think they are too comfortable in their little houses and don't actually get out there enough, because as well, like a lot of the times people see celebrities faces associated with things and are like, oh yeah, great, I should do that. Like I think my friend Lisa saw a comedian at a pro-Palestine march, maybe last year or the year before. More celebs at marches, bitch. Next we have another Pedro. Oh, it's Julian again. Almodovar. Okay, then we have Pedro Almodovar, who recently defended Hunter Schafer during his Chaplin Award speech. He said, Hunter Schafer is a woman even if her passport says she is male, because she also posted publicly that she had her passport changed from female sex signifier to male. I personally think we should just fully abolish gender signifiers on identity things. I don't want an X. Just fucking abolish it. Bitch. Like, you think I want an X on my passport? And everybody's like, a non-bino tran. Let's hate crime this one. You know, like, just remove them. He said, it's been a rising trend. I don't know if he said this or if that's just, like, somebody else. Was it me? Who said this next bit? But in brackets, it says, not to trivialize this at all, I think it's important for celebrities accepting awards to speak out against a current political issue. They have a huge platform when doing this. My notes are a fucking mess for this video. Pedro Almodovar defended Hunter Schafer during his Chaplin Award speech. He said, Hunter Schafer is a woman even if her passport says she is male. My own notes now say, it has been a rising trend, and not to trivialize this action, as I think it's an important one, but it's become a trend for celebrities accepting awards to speak out against current political issues. Doechii did it recently as well. I can't think who else. There's been a lot. Might throw in either a list or like some faces here for like not just trans things. There's lots of different issues people have been covering, like especially ICE raids and stuff like that. But I think it's been a good turn of things because, you know, like my comment about Jojo Siwa wearing certain clothes on, you know, premiere carpets and stuff. It's a huge photo opportunity, a huge audience, and a lot of these award ceremonies are recorded and shared live. So they have like a really huge platform when speaking out at these award ceremonies, because they not only have the, you know, everyday viewer at home, whether live or like later on, but they also have the industry professionals and other people in their positions. And those are the ones who really need to hear it, as, you know, they have like most of the power to make change because they have the money. They're the ones who own the production companies or streaming I don't know, the means of sharing this out, you know, what the fuck ever. But then also the same for other people there also nominated for awards and their fellows, because, you know, a lot of people do not speak out. Look how embarrassing it is for you to sit down there not winning any awards and also not doing anything to make the world better. Embarrassed for you. Number 19 is Will Ferrell. His friend came out as trans, and basically since that he has been like a very loud and proud bestie of a trans woman, showing her off, taking her out, talking about trans people, talking about her in a positive light, basically ever since she came out. And one of the things he did say is, if the trans community is a threat to you, I think it stems from not being confident or safe with yourself. Slay. Embarrassing. Number 20 is another controversial figure who I also wasn't sure if I was going to include anyway, because technically they are trans. Trish Paytas. So yeah, whilst Trish has/does identify as trans themselves, I'm pretty sure Trish uses she/they pronouns. A lot of this was sort of coming out around the time they were on Frenemies and a little bit after that, and I do not religiously keep up with Trish Paytas. So I don't really know if that is still necessarily the case. Also, we know they have a very long history of terrible actions, which they continue to apologize for. They say they are happy to apologize for things multiple times because they understand a lot of things they've done are really fucked up. And then also marrying, like, I don't know it exactly, because I don't, like I said, I don't follow closely. I know her husband is ex-IDF, and his sister and her husband are like pretty big Zionists, honestly. Like, Ethan Klein's a pretty big Zionist. Like, I don't know where Trish and her husband Moses stand, okay? So, but keep in mind, it's likely not where we would rather they were standing. But I did see it come up on my newsfeed. A magazine covered the fact that Trish Paytas did donate $10,000 to a trans charity recently because of a lot of the recent bullshit of American politics. And again, rich people using their own money, putting it where their mouth is. Yeah. Number 21, Natasha Lyonne. Again, she's got some weird stances with AI right now because her fucking boyfriend's some AI nerd. So even though she was one of the SAG-AFTRA or whatever it was strikes against using AI, she's like, we're using AI ethically. That is not actually possible. There's no possible way of doing it. Then she's like, she's not taking feedback, love. She's not taking the feedback. So we're in a pretty weird place right now. But other than that, She has been speaking up again recently in defense of trans people, where she recently said it's no one's business what somebody's privates are. I think she said things in the past as well, because she's one of those actors who's just kind of fallen into playing gay a lot. Even though she's not like technically or officially gay, she's definitely spoken about this before, where it's like, yeah, I'm not gay, but also like, am I not gay? So I don't know. She supports trans people though in it. Number 22. I don't have a lot of examples to hand, but I will find some for the video. But Matthew Illard? I never know how to pronounce his last name, and I truly am not Googling another name. Sorry, guys. But I mean, I love him. I just love him. But also, I just remember seeing it a lot on randomly Tumblr and Twitter is where I've seen him making pro-trans posts, very open, accepting, loving posts about and for trans people. I've not really seen anything more like super official, but also he's kind of like an old dude now, you know, in his 50s probably, and he's not like always in the Hollywood circuit, and he's not in his like big twink horror era anymore from like the early 2000s, 90s. But like, he loves us too. He loves us. Number 23 is Lady Gaga. Again, a note for Zionism. Very disappointing. But Lady Gaga has been defending trans people for many years. Basically, since people were calling her intersex, but in the less nice way that begins with an H. And also asking if she's trans and shit. She's said a lot of funny things in the past about who cares if I did have a dick, it'd be bigger than yours kind of vibes. Again, I'll go and get the examples. So it's still not super clear, really, because this thing that happened recently on her tour, that she has let her fans submit messages that will be put on the big screen at her concerts, and a few people put, free Palestine sentiments. It's not clear really how much she stands by that, because obviously these were not her statements, and she probably didn't pick these herself, did she? So whilst this is positive, it is not confirmed. Oh, this is really unhelpful. I literally can't think what the examples are off the top of my head, but I wrote Amy Lou Wood on here. I don't remember what the examples were, but I do remember there were examples. I just can't remember what the fuck they were. So insert future me. And then number 25, which is the last one for my list for now, is Jade, who is an ex-Little Mix member. She has recently been shouting a lot of things at gigs, at festivals, on stage with her audiences, basically some form of like, fuck you, insert the thing here. And she's done fuck you JK Rowling, TERFs, and then also done like some supportive trans chants and stuff. She's also said pro-Palestine statements, and also made statements about the UK benefits bills too, which honestly was a bit of a shocker. Haven't heard anybody do that on like a music stage. So I also got Jade confused with the one from Little Mix that is blackfishing, and that's Jessie. So if you were also confused like me, I think Jade's doing okay actually with her stance on political things in general. It is now time for a few additional people on this list. We have the guy who played, what was his name? Was he Artie? I think it was, in Glee. Kevin McHale told some member of American Parliament or whatever the fuck that they suck because they were being transphobic. There's also the guy whose name I still haven't looked up, John Bernthal. John Bernthal, happily holds different queer and trans banners with his fans. John Bernthal has a message for the Punisher's alt-right fans. When asked about the alt-righters specifically, he said, fuck them. We also have, I forgot what this fucking show is called. I never watch it. Saturday Night Live, is that the one? Bowen Yang, the guy who was really mean about somebody not that long ago. He posted absolute fuck you, JK Rowling. Obviously, there's a few lists of people as well, like people signing in support of trans rights and trans actors. Tilda Swinton is a COVID denier, even though she has long COVID, but she has been seen photoed wearing Protect the Dolls t-shirt. Also, ironically, the guy who's now playing Snape in the reboot of Harry Potter has also been one of the people to sign one of these open letters supporting trans people. Girl, shut the fuck up. And so is the guy who's playing Hagrid. Shut up. Act in alignment with your values, bitch. Stop taking jobs that help fund transphobes. Also, David Attenborough, trans ally. He fought for trans women to be included and allowed on TV 50 odd years ago. Obviously, Sir Ian McKellen, even though the charity that he created, Stonewall in England, is actually kind of a transphobic charity, they often do not give a shit about trans people. Ian McKellen has been a big part of putting on a reading of which one was it, 12th Night, with only trans and non-binary cast members. Kate Nash is also a recent sort of bigger, louder voice recently. I mean, didn't she make a song or something called Germ, and that was about these transphobes? She also headlined Brighton Trans Pride because of her recent very vocal stance. Thursday night and everything's fine except you've got that look in your eye. One of the women from Sex and the City, Kristen Davis, says she can't understand being transphobic. Gay Olympic swimmer Tom Daley does speak out on behalf of trans people. Linda Carter as well. In response to someone saying you don't stick up for women, real women, she says trans women are real women and real women stick up for trans women. Even Justin Timberlake has said if you are black or you are brown or you are gay or you are a lesbian or you are trans, anyone who's treating you unkindly, it's only because they are afraid or they have been taught to be afraid of how important you are, because being different means you're making a difference. Also, we've had a bunch about Alan coming out recently. I meant to include him in this list. I don't know why I didn't originally. I think I just forgot. Obviously, generally photoed wearing Protect the Dolls. He is one of our bisexual icons, and he's also been saying a lot of other things. I think he was also on Saturday Night Live recently saying stuff that was pro-trans. Jonathan Bailey says that he is so proud to support the UK-wide LGBTQ plus inclusion in schools. And then, there's photos of him holding up like trans pride specific signage. JT, who is a rapper, was doing trans t-shirt fundraisers. Girlie, recently seen wearing at a festival an outfit that says trans women are women and fuck JK Rowling. Okay, I don't know how you pronounce this in French when it's a woman's name, because I know it's Jean when it's Gean, but Geanne, is it Jean, Jeanne, or Jeannie? I don't know. Either way, Friot is a French designer who recently created a collection which has no gender, no carbon footprint, and no hatred. And I'm pretty sure all of the models on that catwalk were trans. And of course, we've also got another original Harry Potter series icon, Miriam Margolyes. She's a very interesting one. She does a lot of docu series nowadays, and I've kind of considered doing some videos reacting to and talking about her docu series, or at least some of them, because she's gay. She's quite a bit older than most people would generally be watching, and she's quite clumsy in how she approaches sensitive topics, but she is generally actually a very open-minded person. She's also Jewish and pro-Palestinian. But yeah, so she says J.K. Rowling is too harsh towards the trans community. I don't agree with her about the trans issue. I think her opinion is too harsh. I really just feel supportive about this tiny group of people who are trans. And if they want me to use pronouns, I think it's the right thing to do. If you can make people happy, do it. And that's just one of numerous things she said. One of her docu-series episodes was her speaking to trans people, but I think they were particular trans people of like another culture. I just can't remember what culture it was because I didn't watch the episode. I saw a clip online. Anthony Head. That's really funny because it just says head, but because it's a last name, my brain said he'd. But yeah, he has been a supportive trans ally for many years. There are stories about it from like 2015. He went above and beyond for a young trans fan. Reportedly reached out to a young fan after they came out as trans in 2015. He'd heard that Jay Hulme, I don't know, was having a hard time after coming out. Hulme was also kind of sad that all the photos he'd taken with the actor at fan conventions in the past were signed to his dead name and showed him with long hair and no chest binder, etc. They gave me what I had been lacking in my life up until that point: affirmation, compassion, and belief in my abilities. So those are my additions to the list. I've got a couple of links to articles that I got most of these from. I was also considering doing a video or a blog post, or I might make this into a blog post as well, but also making a follow-up where it's famous parents of trans people / kids, because there's actually quite a lot of them. I didn't realize how many. Again, questionable other politics most of the time. There's a lot of famous people who are supporting like a younger trans family member, usually their kid. But also I saw recently in a video, can't think what video it was, that mentioned, was it a video? Am I making that up? Somebody fucking mentioned that I think, is his name Wade something, who has a trans daughter, made a documentary called like something by the dads, from the dads. I can't think what the fuck it is. Oh no, it's just called The Dads. So I think it's been on Netflix for a while, but it's basically 5 fathers of trans children talk about it. So I might also go and watch that documentary and talk about that separately. Either way, let me know down in the comments your thoughts on these ideas for upcoming videos or blog posts. Let me know if you think there's a preferred method. Also, carry on contributing to this list. Tell me more celebrities who support trans people, actively kind of shown or said so. Because I think sometimes we just need to remind ourselves that it's not actually that many people who hate us, but it is definitely a lot of people who are forgetting to voice their support for us. So I want to just remind us of who has been voicing that support. Also, there are many fundraisers, both personal and charity ones. I would like to recommend that you find some personal GoFundMes for people, or they're not necessarily always on GoFundMe. Also, GoFundMe fucking sucks because they take a huge cut of your money, but also they often close down people's fundraisers. A lot of Palestinians have had their fundraisers closed from GoFundMe. But anybody who is trying to fundraise for, whether it's because of, there's always so many people in the world who need help. Okay? So I'm not saying prioritize anyone for any particular reason, but if you would like to help some trans people, if you would like to help the trans community, I cannot do anything but recommend you donate directly to people's fundraisers or send them money, through PayPal or whatever, directly to them so that they can decide how they need to use that money. A lot of money that goes to charities, as we know, often don't go where we think it's going or want it to go. It often goes in CEO pockets and advertising, honestly. Also had to break the news to a friend of mine why I don't personally like mermaids very much. So I would suggest Gendered Intelligence or the Claire Project, not just because I work with them sometimes. What? But like, they actively do things within the communities. But I would always say above that, donate directly to trans people who need help. There are many reasons why trans people are fundraising. It's not always about transition related surgeries or costs, because a lot of people have to go abroad, so they have to pay to fly or travel and stay somewhere, and possibly even pay somebody to stay around and support them because they can't do a lot of things for the first few weeks, sometimes months after surgeries. There are certain areas in the world that are better for certain kinds of surgeries, like South Korea are very well known for the facial feminization surgeries. I think as well Belgium, randomly. Spain is well known for operating on fat people. So a lot of trans masks, non-binary people, trans men often who are fat go to Spain for surgery, because even privately in the UK, many of them have like really low cutoff points and are really expensive, like even more expensive than just fucking off to Spain. Like, that's just one example of why trans people might need to fundraise. There's also anything to do with, housing insecurity. Many people might lose their jobs. Trans people are more likely to be impacted by COVID and have long COVID. So they may not actually be able to work either full-time or as much as expected. We are dealing with the cosy lives in the UK as well. Like, it's really rough here. Things are extortionate. There are lots of fundraisers going on that are like events, so you can buy a ticket to an event and that money goes to trans people. Raffles are being put on all the time. I'm actually I'm trying to donate some of my artwork to some of these kinds of raffles to help fundraise for people who really need help. And also, obviously, as well, if you have the ability, hire trans people to do work for you, even if it's not trans related work. We have normal jobs, guys. We're not just trans. We're not just trans. I mean, that's literally what I've been doing all summer, is speaking to trans people about mental health services experiences for research, for health and social care research. We have other skills, guys, not just being slay. So yeah, quick plug for me as well. You can hire me for lots of reasons. I do lots of things. You can buy my artwork. But also, if you want to support a tran right now for free, if you don't have any money, watch my videos. Play my videos. Play trans people's videos, please. We are poor. Do that and click on the video that's in the recommended thing that I'm about to tell you to go watch in a minute, okay? Because that does help channels right now. And I even Jacksepticeye, pardon me, has noticed the algorithm being weird, okay? He has millions of followers. Even he posts things on his side channel when they don't quite fit the vibe of his main channel, because he's noticed what's going on with the algorithm, and the algorithm's not showing his viewers anything. So if you want to support trans people, there's so many ways that are both free and not free. So if you're here, support me by watching my other videos. How about you start by watching this video that I made? What did I do? I can't remember. What's my last trans video that I made? Oh, my back hurts. I have not even been sitting up. My last trans related video was my Trans Girls of Dystopia video that did quite well at the time, actually, considering, like I said, the algorithm hates me. But go and watch it. Even if you've watched it before, just go and give it another watch. If you've not watched it before, go and give it a watch, give it a like, leave a comment. You know, these are things that you can do for free that take you like seconds, that can genuinely mean the difference between affording bills, being able to do something for a job, and not. So, but that's it for this week. I'm tired, I'm warm, my head hurts, you know, the usual. I will see you next week. Bye. Well, yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye.